Hey folks, this is Andre from Wealthy Neighbor. Hope you're all doing well. In this video, we will resume our conversation about the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and we'll cover his philosophy of success, which means we'll talk about those 13 principles that he encourages us to learn in order to accumulate riches. Please take a minute to read our disclaimer, and if you agree with all the terms and conditions, let's go. So since this summary is pretty long, I won't read it item by item, but we have here all the 13 we have here the 13 principles by Napoleon Hill for his philosophy of personal achievement. Actually, we'll have 12 slides because I condensed the desire and faith principles into a single one, which I call definite plan. But it's not that important because you guys will get the idea. So this video will be more than a summary of the 13 principles than a discussion on how to apply them in real life. So if you are interested in more detail and if you want to study these principles in more depth, I recommend you read the book because it's a very nice book for people who are still wondering about life and wondering about their goals and what to do, and have a lot of this negative thinking. And you can also write some questions in the comment section and I'll be glad to help. So first and second principle, definite plan. So thoughts lead to desire and leads to an obsession, which will be transmuted by your subconscious into its physical equivalent, or at least in a map to its physical equivalent, which is an action in which you have to act to reach what you are thinking about, what you desire, to the point of obsession. So this is all it takes, thinking and acting. And this is no news for any of us, right? So definite plans takes persistence. We should not be willing to give up. If we fail, we take this failure as a lesson and we build better plans. Failures only mean that our plans were not sound enough, so we get an opportunity to improve our plans after we fail. We should not be discouraged. We should keep pressing on and we should keep moving forward. Hope plus faith plus courage equals belief. And the stronger your belief is in something, the more likely it is that it will be transmuted to its physical equivalent by your subconscious, by your brain, and by using the sixth sense, which are all principles that we will discuss later. Hope alone is not enough. Faith alone is not enough. Courage alone is not enough. You need all these things together to come up with a plan and act on your plan to reach what you desire. And there is one way to condition your mind to act like this, and this is the principle of autosuggestion. Thoughts and state of mind are the only thing we have a complete control over. We might want to control all the circumstances of our surroundings or try to control what other people do, but we know that this is not possible. The only thing we can control is ourselves, is our mind, are our thoughts and our state of mind. So any impulse of thought repeatedly passed to the subconscious mind is accepted and acted upon by the subconscious mind. So this reinforces that idea of thoughts and obsession and desire. When we think about something hard enough, something we desire very much, we will start to envision ways to acquire that thing that we want. And if we decide to act upon this plan, then we will be able to achieve our desires, but only if we think and only if we act. And there is one way to boost autosuggestion, and it is by mixing thoughts with feelings, emotions, and faith. So the stronger your emotion, the more your subconscious will notice this impulse of thought. So if you mix something you desire very much with a strong emotion, this will This will make it much more likely that your subconscious will create the plan for its achievement. But remember that there are good emotions and bad emotions, and we will come back to this point later. So the author believes that the strongest emotion known to mankind are sex, romance, and love. Actually, most successful people are full of sex energy, and most people fail to accomplish being successful before the age of 30, 40, 50, or even 60 because they tend to dissipate all the sexual energy through physical contact instead of transmuting it in ways to achieve what they desire in terms of a financial gain or in terms of health or in terms of recognition or success. So the human mind responds to stimulation, and emotions and feelings are powerful stimuli. Of course, there are different kinds of stimuli such as drugs, alcohol, fear, but we should focus on those positive and good stimuli. So, when driven by sex, people are capable of achieving great things, which otherwise they would not be able to achieve. But most often than not, one's actions are usually disorganized, distorted, and destructive. But when sex is mixed with love, love acts as a safety valve that ensures sanity, balance, and reason. The author goes on and says that the reason why there are a lot of successful men is that because they have this female influence in their lives, whatever it's their wife or a muse or something they just like. Some men are driven to search for riches in order to impress women. And the author says that this motivation, this driving force, is all a result of a mix of sex, romance, and love, which are the three most powerful emotions capable of stimulating our mind and thus making it easier for us to reach our dreams and our desires. So every time we desire something, every time we are thinking about something that we need, we should try to mix it with positive and strong emotions in order to get better responses from our subconscious. Of course, specialized knowledge should not be overlooked. But getting into a good school, graduating with honor, and getting a diploma is not everything that matters. For the author, an educated person is someone who has developed the faculties of their mind to acquire whatever they want without violating the rights of others. So, this specialized knowledge or this knowledge we get from reading books or going to school and going to university is not enough to achieve great riches and great wealth. So the author divides knowledge into different areas. The first one is synthetic knowledge, which is to arrange what is readily available or using the knowledge we get from university to come up with solutions for our problems. And the second most important and arguably the only kind of knowledge that will actually drive you to great riches is a creative knowledge or imagination, which give us inspiration and take us to the realm of genius. And the good news is that everyone is able to activate creative imagination. All it takes is a state of mind. All we need to do is to feed our mind properly with positive thoughts, is to desire something, is to desire it to the point of obsession, and to work on our plans, without giving up. Changing the subject slightly, the author comes up with this mastermind principle, which encourages you to associate with people who will help you achieve what you desire in a harmonic collaboration and sympathy. The author says that the efforts of one person alone are not enough to accumulate riches. So, through the mastermind principle, different people's brains will act together in a harmonic collaboration, in unison, to come up with ideas that a single person will not be able to have. And once you associate with people who genuinely want to help you achieve what you desire, you will be in good hands. This group, this mastermind alliance, will be able to produce riches in a scale you never imagined possible. So applying the principles of a mastermind alliance and having a definite plan, we arrive at something the author calls organized planning. So at this point, we have fed our minds properly and it's starting to give out those plans. What we need to do in order to transmute our desires into its physical equivalents. What do you have to do in order to get rich? What do you have to do in order to accumulate wealth? And at this point, persistence is very important. The persistence to push forward in the face of failure. This is a very important mindset in this philosophy because for successful people, failure or defeat is temporary. But for losers, failure is permanent. Defeat is permanent. It's something that they believe they will never get out from. So if you are strong enough, to persist in face of failure, you eventually reach what you desire because every time you fail, all you have to do is come up with a different plan and try again. If you fail again, so be it. Come up with a different plan and try again. And keep doing that until you will eventually reach what you desire, what is it that you desire. And the importance of knowing the self. It takes courage to learn about yourself and even more courage to accept and change what you see necessary. Look into yourself and see what is it that is holding you back. Do not be afraid of what you're going to find because the sooner you know what you have to change in yourself in order to reach your desires, the better. You have more time to work on it, you have more time to change your mindset, you have more time to change your thoughts, and you have more time to feed your mind properly. So self-analysis is very important, and it's important that you are courageous, that you are true to the answers, and that you are not afraid of learning about yourself, and also that you have the courage and initiative to start changing what is not right. And every decision you make should be a definite decision. So the author goes on and on about the importance of reaching decisions promptly and changing them slowly. Successful people are able to do that, but unsuccessful people or people who are struggling do exactly the opposite. They reach decisions slowly and are prompt to change them whatever difficult rises, or if someone else criticizes them, or if they see that it's not working, they will readily change their decisions because they are afraid of what's going to happen. But on the other hand, successful people will have persistence. They will have that drive to keep pushing forward despite what's other people saying, despite of how things are not going according to the person's plan. They will keep going until they see the results of what they're doing. Those who talk too much do little else. And show your resolve by your deeds, not by words. So a lot of people like to talk, they say that they will change their lives, they say that they will lose weight, they say that they will stop drinking or gambling or whatever. But this is how they do, they are only saying these things, but they don't commit, they don't have the courage to change themselves. So they don't do anything, they are just saying, and this is pretty bad. This is how you invite failure into your life. So make definite decisions and commit to them, be proud of them, and show them to everyone, not by voice, not by the words, but by your deeds, by your actions. And then comes persistence, the importance of persistence. Willpower plus persistence plus desire. This will make your brain give you a way to accumulate riches. This will make your brain work. This will make your brain make plans for you to get what you desire. And of course, you shouldn't stop there. You should act on your plans, right? You don't want to let your dreams be dreams, you don't want to regret not doing something because you are afraid, or because some of your friends told you that it's not going to work, it's not the right time, or whatever. You want to be a self-reliable person and you want to act on your plans. You don't want to do tomorrow what you can do today, you don't want to procrastinate, you don't want to be that kind of person. So willpower and persistence. A positive point is the lack of persistence, which is also a kind of state of mind, it's caused by thoughts. And remember that luckily we have 100% control over our thoughts. So, lack of persistence can be overcome by the intensity of one's desire. This is called motivation, right? The stronger our motivations, the stronger our persistence level will be. If we desire for something hard enough, if we want that thing very, very badly, we will not stop for small failures, we'll not stop for small things. We'll keep pushing and we will have discipline to do what needs to be done, and we'll cultivate all these good habits in order to achieve our desires, in order to get what is it that we really want. And here, persistence is a direct result of habit. We all know that it's very hard to change bad habits in our life or start to doing something that at first we don't believe it's good for us. And it takes a very high toll. It's tiring, it's boring, and it's kind of frustrating because we don't see any results at first. But that's the thing with persistence. This is a direct result of habits. So once we start doing it, and we have the power to start because we control our minds, we control our thoughts, and this is all it takes. So we need this willpower to start building habits that leads to persistence. And once we consolidate these habits in our lives, persistence will come as second nature. It will come easy, and it will make us stronger and more resilient people. And now the three most important concepts of Napoleon Hill's philosophy of personal success. First one, the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind prioritizes desires which have been mixed with strong emotions. So the stronger emotions there are sex, romance, and love. But we have all kinds of emotions like happiness, anger, guilt, revenge, and other things. So, desires or thoughts that are mixed with emotions will have more impact on our subconscious mind. So, you have to be careful to choose the proper emotions, because if you think negatively, uh, your subconscious mind will transmute those negative thoughts into their negative equivalents, their negative physical equivalents. And this is not something you want, but it's something we do because we are not thinking straight. So you must shut down influences by negative emotions and constantly make use of positive emotions. The second principle is the brain. So the author makes this broadcasting station analogy. The brain works as this broadcasting station and makes a link, makes communication possible between our subconscious and what the author defines as infinite intelligence, which is where all the ideas are. The ideas to build wealth, the ideas for riches, the ideas for being successful, being well known, get a Nobel Prize, I don't know, whatever you desire. So, this is why the brain is so important. This is why the name of the book is Think and Grow Rich. We can think and we can influence and we can condition our brains, based on what we think. We can condition the subconscious and we can get the answers from infinite intelligence depending on how we feed our brains. And there's this thing with the brain: the more we use it, the easier it is to use it again and the more efficient it becomes. So some people go and think that it's enough, to get an education, and once you are out of university, you are done with it. You don't want to educate yourself any further. And this is an invitation to failure, because if someone thinks like this, they will not be looking into opportunities, to improve themselves, to improve their brain further after a point of time. And this is not what successful people do. Successful people are always looking for opportunities to get smarter, to get new ideas. They all have this. They all have this drive, to get new ideas, to know new people, to get different point of views, to solve their problems more efficiently, to optimize their processes, to spend less raw material, and so on. Successful people don't settle for mediocre. They aim for greatness, and this is why they are so rich. This is why they are so well known, because they train their brain. They use it to the fullest, and it becomes a very efficient machine, becomes a very efficient organ, and they can communicate almost any time they want with infinite intelligence. And this is what the author calls the sixth sense. The sixth sense is also called creative imagination. And if you remember from one of our previous slides, there's this difference between synthetic imagination and creative imagination. So synthetic imagination is the intelligence we gather from reading books and from studying, whereas creative imagination is what makes a genius, are those brilliant ideas that will change the world, that will change the way we live forever. And creative imagination equals to the sixth sense, and it's developed by using our brains hard enough, every time, thinking about different solutions, always having these positive thoughts, never giving up, never being afraid of fear, never worrying about anything. And all this will drive the generation of this sixth sense, which is something that will warn us of impending dangers in time to avoid them, and notify of opportunities in time to embrace them. This sounds like something magical and bogus, maybe it is, but the truth is we have to think. We have to always be thinking about different possibilities, and if possible, we should mix our thoughts with positive emotions, because why mix in negative emotions if we can choose? Remember that the only thing we have 100% control over is our brain and our thoughts, and what we decide to feed our subconscious with. So since we have this choice, it also becomes our responsibility, to feed the brain properly, to avoid negative emotions, to avoid being a pessimist, and to mix positive and good emotions with our ideas, with our desires, in order to get this definite plan. This is the sixth sense. This is infinite intelligence telling us how are we going to achieve what we desire, how are we going to achieve riches, and it will give a plan, and then all we have to do is act on this plan with persistence, without being afraid of failure, and pushing. So this is Napoleon Hill's philosophy for personal achievement. And also, this is it for today. Let me know what you think about this philosophy of success, about these 13 principles that Napoleon Hill asks us to think about and to implement in our lives, if we have desire for grandeur, if we don't want to set for mediocrity, and if we want to aim higher in life and get riches, get being well known, and get whatever we desire. Thank you for your time, and see you later. Bye bye.